Car manufacturers make it difficult to get a spare key. I'm not sure why. Be sure you stick around. At the end of this video, I'm gonna call the dealership and find out why it's so expensive to get another key made. Did you know that for some particular year, make, and models, they have two different keys that look identical, but they have different electronics inside, making it even harder to get a spare key and save money in the process? I'm gonna show you 3 ways that you can bypass some of the things car manufacturers do to make it difficult to make a spare key without going to the dealership. I won't even count this as the first trick. On some vehicles, like this Toyota Highlander, some manufacturers have 2 different keys. The 4-button has a rear hatch and the 3-button does not. So that's a really obvious solution. No tricks there, just does it have a power back door. They look identical, but they have different electronics inside. So you've got to make sure you have the right circuit board in here or it's not going to work for your vehicle. Here's the first trick. Sometimes the difference is inside the key. The first trick is to look at the back at the fine print and find the FCC ID number. In this case, we'll find that one of these has an FCC ID that ends in FLA. The other key has an FCC ID ending in FBC. Now that's an indication of the different circuit board inside the key fob. Because the text is really small, you can grab your phone, snap a picture, and zoom in, and usually be able to read the fine print. So that one is pretty easy. In this case, the 2020 to 2023 Toyota Highlanders are one example of a vehicle that has 2 different FCC IDs, meaning 2 different circuit boards inside the key fob that you need to figure out in order to get the right key for your vehicle. Here's the second way to figure out which key your vehicle has. For example, these 2 key fobs look identical, and these are key fobs with different circuit boards for 2021 Toyota 4Runners, Tacomas, and Tundras. So how do you know which one you have? One of the tips is to open up the shell and look at markings inside the key fob shell or on the circuit board. The third tip is to call the dealership parts department and ask them to help know the part number or the FCC ID. I'm trying to find out about another key for a 2023 Highlander.
Is the VIN number of the vehicle by any chance?
2537.
You have a push start?
Yep, it's a push start.
So that consists of 2 pieces. You have the piece to the remote.
Okay.
Sold separately. You have a spare? I mean, you do have a spare?
Yeah, I've got one key that's working. I'm trying to get a spare.
Yeah, because if you don't, it's expensive if you don't have a spare. Because the car would have to be towed here.
They
charge about $500 just to reseat the key, plus the key. So the key, the transmitter runs about $300.
Okay.
And then you have the emergency key that slides out for emergency. That runs about $80.
Okay.
And then they charge about $1.
Boy, sorry about that. My main camera died, so my backup was still running. So let's switch to that footage to get the rest of the phone call.
The transmitter runs about $300.
All right, so we're about $300 for the key fob itself. The little emergency metal blade inside was another $80. That's $380. And you said how much for them to program?
$125 to program.
About $125. Ouch! So I'm over $500. That's crazy expensive. Are you able to give me the part number or the FCC ID on the key fob?
I can give you the part number of the key.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Let me shop around a touch.
899.
And how long does it take to get a key made?
Here, about 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your help. Can you believe that? The dealership wants $505 to make a spare key for this Toyota Highlander. That's crazy talk. And did you catch it? He said if you don't get a spare made and you lose your only key, it's going to cost over $1,000 to make a spare. That is absolutely insane. So do yourself a favor. Come to tomskey.com, order your programming kit and spare keys today. You'll save hundreds of dollars and you won't have to spend the 2.5 hours sitting in the waiting room that the dealership wants you to waste your time with. I don't know about you, but I could have a lot of fun if I saved a couple $100 getting a spare key with tomskey.com and saved a couple hours of my time by skipping the dealership. So come to tomskey.com, get your spare key and programming kit today.